Hello everyone, hi, this is Maru-chan. It's November 28th, 2021. I believe it's 11:36 p.m. plus GMT time, and welcome to the Maru-chan podcast, the podcast where you guys get to hear my before and after thoughts of games that we're about to play or are playing right now. So, welcome guys, I appreciate that everyone's here listening to this, and that you guys are looking forward to hear about the game of today, which if you guys have already read the title, it's Castlevania Symphony of Night, I believe. Yeah, Symphony of the Night. Now, if you're probably asking me, hey, how are you forgetting the name of the game you just played this week? Well, it's because I actually beat this game probably a week ago. I finished it in the first week. It didn't actually take me 2 weeks as how I posted this, but guys, I finished it in that same week, like how I normally, usually finish games in like the 1 week. But I figured it was better to actually like take some time to take it all in, and that's why I wanted to kind of wait a little before I did the actual podcast. Now, I'm actually doing the podcast very late in the evening on Sunday, so I'm gonna be posting this around maybe on the Monday morning or Monday night, whatever. No, Monday, early in the morning and Monday. Let's just say that. Guys, it's nice to see all of you. And I'm going to be talking about Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, this game is legendary. It's great. It's so good. Honestly, I have very little bad things to say about it. Honestly, actually, as far as I can see in my notes, I don't have anything that I can complain about. Yeah, I mean, there were some things that, like, enemy displacement, or not displacement, enemy placement that was kind of bad. Obviously you get hit and then, like, you can't move after you get hit, but that's a known thing in the Castlevania series. Like, placement is very necessary. If you want to hit something, you have to hit it perfectly with the whip. That sort of thing. And actually, this game is super cool, guys. I really recommend you guys try it yourselves. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna be talking about this game. So let's go ahead and start. So anyway, in this game, you play as Alucard, which is this vampire human hybrid of a man, and you just see him running from the forest back to a castle, and that's where it all starts. Now, just to preface this, it's very important to know that this is a Castlevania sort of game, therefore in the genre of Metroidvania. Therefore, I'm not gonna be really going through my whole experience because I wrote so much. Honestly, I wrote so much for the game. I have it here, but I can't just tell you guys every little thing that I did because it would just take like 3 or 4 hours if I just go through it that way. Instead, I'm just kind of gonna talk about like my simple experience with it and how each place looks. How not even that. I'm just gonna kind of go over the main things of the game, which are like the bosses, the castle itself, all sorts of things. So so just to kind of mention that, I think it's really important because you guys don't want to, I imagine, hear a whole freaking podcast about every little part of the game, like what every room has, what's the background sprites, and which are the enemies, how many hit points they deal, etc., etc., how much health they have, right? So what I'm gonna do is just gonna go over to the main things. So at the beginning of the game, you go in there, you go through your first hall, and the front gate, and then the hall. You kill some enemies, walking around, these zombie-looking dudes. And by the way, I forgot the name of most of the enemies. I actually didn't really know it, but I know how they look. I still kind of do. So you fight a bunch of those enemies, and I'm gonna guess, because I don't remember from the past Castlevania games, that you're in this castle a lot of times. Or many times, because I believe the game prior to this, it's the game with Richter, I believe. I forget what that one's called, and actually that's where it starts. It doesn't even start in the forest. That happens after. It starts out at the ending of that other game with Richter. You go up these stairs with Richter, and you have to fight Dracula, and you kill him, and then the game ends, or that's like the prologue ends. Afterwards, that's when you like run with Alucard to the castle. Anyways, you fight with several enemies, and then this guy comes out. I forget his name though. I believe I have it here. Let me see. Yeah, it's this dude called where the hell is he? Did I forget where I left? Death. Yeah, that's his name. Death. How could I forget? Oh, come on. But yeah, this guy called Death. If for those people who don't know anything about Castlevania at all, if you guys remember, when Simon and Richter were released in Smash, I guess this is the easiest way I can really explain these characters to a lot of you who don't know anything about the game. There was a ghost that took, like with a big scythe, that took Luigi's soul, right? Yeah, basically that guy. His name is Death, and the master is obviously Dracula, and he's dead in this game. But yeah, so you eventually he takes all your powers because you're like super OP at that time, at the very beginning. But he takes all your powers, and now you have to find all your stuff, basically, just powers. So like I mentioned, I have a ton of I didn't even plan how I was gonna talk about this game, because this game is just really, really big. Actually, I wouldn't even know how I would talk about Metroid. Actually, I have talked about Metroid before. Metroid 2, Samus Returns, I believe. But yeah, so basically that's where you start your journey. You have nothing, and you have to just go. You have to fight enemies. It's kind of brutal at the beginning. Let me tell you guys that. Your health is low. If something hits you, you can get hit into something else. For example, if there's like an enemy that hits you, and there's another enemy around, and you end up like, by the time your invincibility is gone, when it's gone and you're already touching another enemy, that'll like hurt you too. Sometimes like you'll just die because of that, because sometimes enemy placement is kind of weird, so he will hit you inside the body of another enemy, because there's so many enemies sometimes. So you have to really watch out at the beginning. And let me just go ahead and explain what the gameplay is and everything, because I feel I'm gonna kind of lose you guys if I don't. Like collectibles and gameplay and stuff. By the way, this game does have like a kind of like 3D-ish kind of cutscenes sometimes, but it's like it has real 3D cutscenes, but it also has kind of like pseudo 3D cutscenes as well, kind of like what you would see in Star Fox or something back in the SNES days. So the gameplay. Let me talk about that. So you can obviously like do the Michael Jackson. What's the walk? The moonwalk. You can do that. It's like dash backwards. So it's like strafing backwards. And you can also equip 2 weapons, or a weapon and a shield, or a shield and a weapon, or just your bare hands. And you could literally fight with your bare hands. And later you can even get brass knuckles and stuff like that. Different weapons have different attributes and different stats. So they give you defense or strength or intelligence. I'm gonna guess the intelligence like makes your magic stronger, because you also have magic spells. So there's that. And not only that, but there are these things that you can collect that are just in that life. For example, I don't know how you would call it, but these are like you can change them. These are like the little side weapons that you can change whenever you want. Kind of like in Contra. You guys know Contra? When you're walking around shooting people, you pick up the S, right? And now you have a shotgun. If you pick up the M, you have now a minigun. If you pick up L, that's a laser. So it's actually, that's the best way I can really tell you guys how it is. And something cool is that like you can break things. Like that's how these games have always been. Like if there's a candle, you can break it, and gold or magic or health or something will come out of it, right? But these little weapons that you can change will also come out, and if you know where each one is at, you can pick the one that you want, and like always go to that area and get the one that you want. So they always stay the same wherever you got it. So if you kill if you destroy a certain lamp or something, then you can always get that power there. And there are different kinds. There's like actually I have it here. There's the throwing knife, the crazy book. The throwing knife is just the knife that you throw. The crazy book, which is like this book that goes all around you, and it like hits everything around you. The fire thing, the potion fire, the one that you see and also in Smash, the down B. You can stop time. Basically the cross that you throw as like the neutral B. A yo-yo, like these little 3 yo-yo things that go everywhere. You can spit, and like it looks like spit or like piss or like salt or something, and if they step on it, it takes a ton of damage, repeated damage, but it's not good against like aerial opponents, right? So anyway, yeah, there's these items that you can change throughout the, like, they're everywhere. It's not like it's hard to find them. It's so easy. You're always gonna have that, you know, special thing with you. So I always use the time power though. I can stop time for like 5 seconds, but honestly, it's so OP. It's super OP because you can just stop it and hit a boss and kill him just like that. And one of the best things about this game is that you can actually level up. I love this about this game because it gives it a sort of progression. Now, I don't know what the max level is, honestly. It could be 100, but I got to level 50 by the end of the game. And the amount of XP that I had was pretty high. It was pretty high. I couldn't even tell you how much, but I can tell you I had a lot. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, you could level up. It feels good because, you know, every once in a while you level up. I believe you gain your health back if you level up too. I'm not sure. Because, once again, it was like a week ago that I beat the game. And like I said, you have spells, but you will never use them. I don't even know all the spells because I think I got most of them, but not all of them. You can buy them at the store. There's a shop that you can go to, not really a store, but yeah. So it's you can use these spells. One that, like, anytime you hit an enemy and blood comes out of that enemy, like if you activate the spell beforehand, then you can get like extra health from all the blood that you get. There's another power that, like, you get a little spirit that hits people. There's another one that 4 spirits come out. There's another one that shoots fire. Another one that, like, yeah, there's just several kinds of attacks, spells that you have, but honestly you will never use them. But there's one more important thing, but I'll get to that in a second. So besides that, like I said, you can find money everywhere. You need money so you can buy stuff at the store, which things are not too expensive, but you will want to save up money so you can buy better stuff. Because sometimes buying better stuff can help you get, you know, something, a weapon or a piece of clothing that you can use to kill people faster. But the thing is, you don't really need to do that because you'll probably find a stronger weapon if you, like, go and find every nook and cranny. So yeah, you'll probably find a stronger one if you just go out and look, which that's the case. You'll find weapons that can, I guess, poison and do other shit to people, you know, like maybe. Yeah, so you know, if you can find walls, special walls that you can break as well, it's actually not too noticeable. It's not like Zelda where it'll show a big ass crack. No, it's actually kind of hard to find. So you do have to be hitting a lot of walls. You have to be hitting a lot of walls throughout your playthrough if you want to find everything. Like, in my honest opinion, I went through the whole game. I got to 200%. And you're like, what? 200? Why not 100? I'll explain that later. So, anyways, the next collectible that's super important is the relics. These relics are things that you find that make your character better overall in the game, or like kind of like spells, but they just do random shit. For example, there's the Cube of Zoe. I think that lets you I believe it lets you see their name, see the name of the enemy, kind of like Scan in Kingdom Hearts. It lets you see how much health they have. This is very similar. The Spirit Orb, the Spirit Orb shows you the damage. The Cube of Zoe, it did something. It's like it gives you more experience or something. You could turn into Wolf with one of the relics, Soul of Wolf. Fairy Scroll, you get a little. I actually don't know what that one gives you. Yeah, I don't remember that one. Secret Boots, these allow you to jump higher, and you can have them all on. It's not like you have to choose which ones. You can actually turn them off if you want to make the game more difficult, right? But you do need some powers for some specific areas of the game to proceed. So some are necessary. Power of Wolf, you just like attack stronger with the Wolf. Gravity Boots, once again, you can you can turn the gravity around for you. You get a power of Bat that can later shoot balls, and you get all these other things, which I'll get into just one of the important ones later. But basically all of them give you different powers. And by the way, these powers, sometimes you need them. For example, the bat power, if you don't have the bat power, you can't access certain areas. If you don't have the wolf power, you can't access a certain area either. And the same thing with the mist. You also get a mist one where you turn into like mist and you can go through these bars. If you don't have that power, you cannot go through any bars in the game. So you have to go all the way back. You have to remember all the bars that are in the game so you can go back and get those secrets, those secret items, those all of that sort of stuff. Besides that, you can also get what else? What is it? Oh yeah. You can find health and these heart container things. Not heart containers, but it's the same thing as like your health. But I actually never even understood it. I never got the concept. It's like you can get hearts, but I don't know what they're for. Maybe it's for the mana, because you do have a little bar for mana. But anyways, that one doesn't matter. But you can upgrade it by finding these little jars, and you can usually find like the heart one and the health one together. So I think I found all of them, because I did get the 200%. That means like I did find every single one. So yeah, that's basically that part. And besides that, one more thing that you can get is these scrolls that give you like a familiar, which if a familiar is kind of more of a Japanese term for a summon. So you can get like a bat summon, you can have a little devil summon, a little fairy, like a special sword thing, a skull that follows you around, and they attack the enemy, and they can level up too. That's the cool thing. And I think when they level up, they can use special attacks too. It's super cool. It's the game is not just as simple as you have a character, you fight and whatever. No, it feels like Metroid. Obviously that's where kind of Castlevania kind of got its thing afterwards. It got really, really famous because of how the concept is. It's such a great game. The feeling of progression in this game is awesome. I loved it so much, because you do, by the time you play the first few rooms, as compared to like the final ones, you feel like a monster. You feel like you're just killing everything, you're destroying it. But you wouldn't really feel that way if you were not finding everything. I was going for every strong item, every secret item. I was going for buying the strongest things in the store, but obviously they didn't help me that much because I was already too strong. It was so good that I could just kill bosses like nothing. Sometimes, most of them, because I was OP because I leveled up. I didn't grind though. That's one thing I can say, guys. I didn't grind money, nor did I grind for what's it called, for levels, because you can do that, and there are guides online that show you how and which places are the best. Because if you grind, maybe you can get to level 100 and be even stronger than I was. And there was an area that I found later on in the game where you can get over $4,000 in one single, like, you hit the little light thing, right? And then there was a door right next to it, so you can like restart the room, or reset it. So yeah, and you can just keep getting 4,000. Like probably like it takes like 10 seconds to do. Go in there, break it, get it, go back into the other room, vice versa, and this probably takes 10 seconds at a time each time you do it. So imagine if you do it for an hour, you'll probably be super rich. And I'll just go ahead and say it right now. If you actually did that, that's probably so you can get this other piece of armor called the Duplicator. There's this the special armor that you can get that duplicates any of the items that you have. I haven't even talked about like the rest of the other stuff. You can get armor, find weapons. Like I said, you can get a knife, you can get long swords, you can get all sorts of things, brass knuckles, a bunch of shit, right? You can get a bunch of shit, and you can have a chest plate, you can have two accessories, etc. I think that's what you can get, and different accessories do different things. Like it makes this makes you strong against holy enemies, against dark enemies, fire resistance, water resistance, ice resistance, etc. Thunder, yeah. So basically, you can get super strong, and yeah, if you, like I said, you can get the duplicator and duplicate these items. There are also items that like you can use to fight that you can only use once. For example, there was this bomb that you could use, but if you use it, you can only use it once. If you want to buy another one you can, or you can find it in the throughout the castle. But you can also find them, like and you can find food, and you can also have all kinds of food and things that like help your attack or help just for like a short amount of time. So many things in this game. Like I honestly thought coming back to this game it was gonna be much simpler, because the last time that I beat this game was a very, very long time ago. So I was surprised to come back, and beat the game the way it was supposed to. Actually, last time I beat it, I only got to 100%, and I'll tell you guys why. Actually, I'll tell you guys like when I get to like the middle part of the game. But yeah, I only got to the 100%, so I did 100% the last time, but not the 100%. As stupid as that sounds. So anyway, let me get into the actual story here. So you're basically trying to fight Dracula because you're blaming him that your mom died because of him, and that he's they actually say that he died. The death guy actually mentions that, and that he's trying to revive him or some stuff like that. But at first they're like trying to convince you to come back and work for them, back at the castle. But if you played the last game, Richter obviously was there. So as you go through the dungeons, I mean, this game is beautiful, guys. Like the pixel art is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. Every part of every room is just beautiful. I think most areas in this game look really nice. Some are their intention is to creep you out, and they're a little bit creepy. So some of the enemies are really weird as hell, like, but in a good way. Like, they're creepy. Some look really strong. Yeah, there's all sorts of monsters in here, and all of them had great designs. Like, there was I'm not even gonna talk about it because there's just so many enemies, guys. Just play the game. It's so good. There's so many kinds of enemies. I don't even want to go through it because there's just so many, and they're really great. So the first part that you go through is just kind of like a do I have the names? I think I do. I think I forgot what the name of this part was. I think it's called I really don't know. But yeah, this when I started kind of figuring everything out, like how switches work, how enemies work, how what enemies can hit through walls, which ones can't, which ones can like the enemy patterns and stuff. That's how I started getting used to it. Anyways, so my first boss, there's like 30 bosses in this game. There's like 30 or 40 bosses, somewhere around there. And I'll tell you guys why in a sec. But yeah, there's like I think 30 bosses or more. They're kind of mini bosses, but they're bosses nonetheless. But the main small bosses, they will like when you kill them, it goes like throom throom throom, and it'll give you a health thing. That's how you know it's an actual boss. Yeah, basically that. So it was like a pterodactyl and this a gargoyle, and he was picking him up, and the pterodactyl had a spear, and he would keep hitting. But after the pterodactyl was kind of easy because he was always being pulled up. But as soon as you killed the pterodactyl and the gargoyle was left, he would just shoot a ton of these fireball things, right? So I figured out that you could just jump over him and just like hit him. And I could have also stopped time at that point because I already found the time power, but I didn't use it. But I definitely could have and killed him a lot faster than what I did. I honestly thought he was hard, but it's actually very easy. You just jump over him and done. So as you can see, a lot of these enemies have a very, very easy pattern once you learn. Just look at what they're doing, learn the pattern, hit. He actually changes to a second, to like a different color once you hit him enough. And yeah, I even put here my max health went up. So found some special glasses. I don't even know what that means. Oh, I was talking like such a noob. It was saying in my notes that I got a cloak. Like this is the first time I got a cloak. Yeah, you can also get a cloak. Like I said, there's a chest plate, a cloak, and they're like different colors. So if you get a new sword, it looks a little bit different. If you get a new cloak, it changes how you look. There was this one that I got that makes you look invisible. Like if you just stand normal, it makes you look invisible. Like it's see-through, and it's really cool. Anyways, you go through this room to the right. I believe it's called the marbles, or something like that. And so these places do have names. This I just forgot the name of the first part, or the second area. But the next part is marbles and something. And you meet this girl Maria, and yeah, she's also trying to find. She's actually trying to find Richter, and destroy the castle or whatever. So one thing to know is that actually I think I did this kind of backwards in a way. I went to a ton of other areas before I was supposed to go. There are a lot of ways to go, by the way, that bring you to this place can bring you to that place. There's so many areas that if you find the part, and you can actually go back to an area that you've been at before. And there are also teleporters in this game. You can teleport across the map. But you have to go to the teleport room to teleport to a teleporter that you have already found. Yeah, so it's really interesting because you'll always find a way that connects to a place that you've been at before, and I like that part because you can just kind of walk back faster if you remember how it goes. But luckily I have a good sense of location, so I remembered every single room. And you can, I believe you can also buy the map, and it'll already show you all the areas you can go to. And all the parts of the map, like instead of it not being there at all, it'll show up but grayed out, and now you know that you can walk to that room. But there are special rooms, like I said, there are walls that you can break that are not even shown in that little map. So you do have to find yourself, and they have extra little goodies, extra little strong items or super strong weapons or something, armor. So yeah, basically, your mission is to defeat Dracula. That's what you're doing in this game. It's really, really great though. So that's when I kept going, and I found the outer wall, which is at like the very right of the game. That's where I found like a clone of myself. I started fighting him. I died like 3 times, but then I stopped time and I hit him, and it was actually very easy. Then I kept going. I found the library, which is where you find the merchant guy, the guy who sells stuff to you. Then I found the teleporting thing there, and there were a few more small bosses that in the marble area. There's like a clock there as well in the marble area, and so by that point I felt like I did cover the map, cover a good amount of the map, and I unlocked this elevator by going to the very top of the outer walls. There's even a save point up there, and the clock tower. That's what it was called. The one where I met Maria the first time, and no, the clock tower's at the very, very, very top, and there are these big skeleton heads. That's basically the final area. Like in the first 30, maybe okay, not 30 minutes. Like in the first hour, I already found the area, which is the final part of the game. But you cannot do anything there until you've gone through most of the game, because you need like double jump, and then you need to get the bat power so you can fly, or the mist power, the good one that allows you to go for longer. But you don't get those till like almost the end of the end of the game, once you've unlocked most of the parts of the game and all of the little kind of secret areas. So yeah, I went through like this through the marble area, and yeah, so no. Afterwards, I went to the librarian, which is the merchant, the one that sells weapons to you, and you also like get these jewels like sapphires and diamonds and other stuff that you can sell to him and make more money and buy stuff. So I bought a sword at that time, and that's when I started going around and kind of defeating some mini bosses. Besides that, there are these blue doors that you need a relic for. The relics that I was talking about. Like you can get the bat relic to turn into a bat or wolf, or to double jump, or to different relics for different things, right? And I got one where it lets me go through blue doors. Like you can go through blue doors. So yeah, I basically couldn't go through those areas, and which kind of sucked, but basically through the marble area, it took me to the very first area where I found my first save point and everything. Like basically in the area where death took all of my powers. Then I went to the underground bunkers. I remember these little spear guys like always would hit up, and I found a ton of crap there. There's a lot of stuff that I wrote down, honestly. Like, yeah, basically it's like a cave. Actually, is that it? I'm just taking a quick look. No. Okay, so the underground bunkers is that place with the spear guys, but you can also go down and this area to like this cave kind of thing. So once you go there, you end up fighting like the serpent, right? And then you go further. There's like this trap that like this water thing. You also cannot touch water until you get a relic that allows you to breathe and touch water. Even if you touch a little bit of water, your health starts going down fast. So you basically have to end up, getting it later here. So you end up fighting a boss here, I believe. I'm trying to see. Oh yeah. There was a boss with these like 5 serpents and a woman. She had like 2 dogs. And then I ended up fighting them, and I got like this merman statue. I can't even remember very well because there's a lot of stuff in this game that like you play and you enjoy it, but they're just like kind of mini bosses, and they're kind of easy sometimes. Like when you guys have to understand that this game, if you're playing it and you're just going through it really fast, it's gonna be kind of difficult. I mean, you do level up relatively fast, and that means that the enemies aren't too tough, as long as you have good skill, right, as well. But if you are literally going through every place, going through every nook and cranny, you're gonna have to refight monsters a lot, and you're gonna like go around a lot because you want to find everything, and that's exactly what I did. So I was not necessarily underleveled, or I was a little bit overleveled throughout the thing. I think. I think. So yeah, I ended up getting the water power there. I don't even think I got the water power there, but I know when you walk to the left, you find like a guy in a boat. You take that, and then you find like another like statue or whatever. Then you come back, and then there's like a piece of ice on the floor, which I took a long time to find. I found it, I hit it, and I went down this cavern, which took me to another area with another boat, and I got this holy symbol. And that's that's when I got the water power. That's when I was able to breathe in water and touch it, and I wouldn't die. So that, you know, I started going around every area in that cave, because now I could go, you know, and get like all of these things right under the water. So I think I also got the blue power here, so I can go through the blue doors. So once I actually went through that. Oh yeah, the Royal Chapel. I like this place. It looks like kind of like a really fancy castle should look, like a knightish and Christian church kind of thing, you know. So I went up like these ladders. That's where you like go through, and then there was these like really weird swords that you can find sometimes, and this sword turns like into like 20 swords with like 30 swords wrapping around it. It was crazy, and whenever you go in the room, it take like a few seconds and then start chasing you. But it resets every time you go in, right? So if you want to go to the other side, you have to like dash really fast and then just go in the door. I remember like being freaked out by it because I never wanted to fight it. It's not that hard to beat, honestly. You just like, I could even stop time and just kill it and then move on with my day, but I don't know. You know, that's one of the enemies that just had me always on my toes. Anyway, yeah. So I went there, and I actually found this room with the Pope. Like you go, you sit down, and you talk to him, and he gives you just grapefruit or some shit. Yeah. But yeah, the stupid sword scared me. Anyway. So yeah, then afterwards there's these towers that you can find at the left, like on the top left of the map, and I remember that this was the place that I was supposed to go from like almost the very beginning of the game, because like as I went through it, that's when I got the next power up to even do the next areas. But you know, this is a Metroidvania game. They give you the freedom, so if you do it another way, you still get a lot of crap. And when you come back to the other area that you were kind of supposed to be at, then you are already upgraded, but not in a bad way. It feels good because, you know, you actually went and found all of these max health things. You found all of these weapons. You found all this armor, items, whatever. So I did. Let me see. Oh yeah, there was a bird boss that I fought. His name was Hippogriff. Yeah, and I think she told me, hey, you need to get in contact with Richter if you find him. So I'm like, okay. So Castle Keep is like at the very top as well. And actually, the funny thing about it is that I didn't do most of Castle Keep. Because Castle Keep is also part of the clock tower one. and those two are basically the final part of the game. But because you cannot necessarily, actually no. That part is just like the side of like the back part of where the final part of the game is at, but it's not really the final part of the game. That's where you get the double jump. So yeah, then once I got the double jump, I remembered all the areas that I knew I couldn't jump to, so I started going. Some areas I still couldn't access because the double jump wasn't enough. Anyways, I ended up finding another enemy there, and it's the Ox King or something, Oxings, and yeah, basically you find like a coliseum sort of thing, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Then I went to the library, and there was a new place at the top that I couldn't go to, so now I couldn't explore all of it because I needed other powers like the mist power and everything. That, you know, when you go to a completely new area, but what's the point when you cannot explore all of it? So then I ended up going back, but I still got like other max heart containers and stuff. Yeah, there's always something about finding a new place, because you'll always find another area inside that place for a new place that you can come across. So that's where you need to always remember and like, okay, there's the special wall here that I can't break. I need this thing, or I need to be able to jump farther, or these sort of things that you need to always keep in mind. And I love that. So I went through every area, and I went back to the water place, and oh yeah. Since I could jump farther, there was this one waterfall where there was the boat guy, where I mentioned to you guys I fought the serpents. In this area right here, what's interesting about it is that there's this like waterfall, and there's like you could get like some items behind the waterfall. If you jump over and not go down, you like keep jumping forward, you can find this area which will unlock these guys with bombs. You kill the first guy, and you see that he can break wood, and in between the area where you fight the serpents and where the boat guy is, there's this wooden wooden area where you can just you can break it and well, with one of those dudes right up here. So I remember I used them. He destroyed the bridge, and yeah, I went even further into a new area, and you find the old mines. That's what they're called. It's kind of like an Egyptian-esque kind of area, and there was a Cerberus boss there, I believe. It had like different elements shooting at me, and yeah, there was this like other area after it was still part of it, where it's like, it looks kind of natural, like a natural cavern. It wasn't like it was kind of like full of mossy dirt or mossy grass, and there were like little imps that left fire, and they're not hard to deal with, but if you let them put out too much fire, they start being kind of an inconvenience to you. So then you keep going, and you have left and right. You find another teleporter there, and to the left you find like a weapon. But if you keep going down, you find the catacombs, and in the catacombs there was this really cool boss. If you go to the left, there was this what was it? This ball of corpses. It was like a corpse, right? And it just dropped a ton of enemies, like zombies, and they would come and hit you, right? A ton, and they just keep falling. You have to hit them. If you don't hit them, then they'll just they'll just become too many and just start hitting you and tanking you. So you need to like jump and hit the piece of meat of all these bodies that are falling, and the ball of meat. And the more you hit it, it kind of uncovers a spot of the real tentacle enemy that's inside. And yeah, you basically do that. You hit it at the bottom part of the meat, and then you try to jump perfectly and hit the top part, but that one's a little bit harder to do. So then you hit the core, which is like the tentacle part. And yeah, that enemy was not difficult, but it was definitely a lot more exciting than a lot of the other bosses. This one felt like an actual boss, you know. It felt good. So yeah, it was really cool. It even shot like green lasers at me. It was awesome. Anyways, you go through the Coliseum part again, and I got like where was it? Oh no, you keep going through that same area, and you get the mist power, which now you can go through every area that you couldn't get mist power. Which there was one in the library, like in that new area that I found. So let me see. I remember I did find some bars, and oh yeah. I found this super secret area. I don't know if it's super secret, but it was secret. And it took me to this save area. I didn't even talk about the save points, which are super cool. These save points, when you walk inside the room, it's kind of like in Metroid, where you know you have that thing that you recharge. You put your hand cannon inside, and then like it recharges you. It goes like do 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 do, kind of like when you get an upgrade, but it just charges you. But here, it's like you walk in a room, and it's like this like prism thing. Like it has so many. It's like an octagon, but 3D. It's like spinning around, and it's beating like a heart. And it's going like dum 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 dum. And you know, you save in it, and it's just like a coffin wrapping you around, and then like it coming out. So it's super cool. The save area is super cool, and the teleport things are super cool too. You get inside this like keyhole teleporter. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Anyway, as I was saying, you find the special one. It's a purple one, and it takes you to like a nightmare of where it shows Alucard's mother, and she's like, kill the humans, kill them. It's good if you kill them. And you're like, wait, my mother wouldn't say that. She was a good person. She was a good human. And then the succubus, she's like, oh, dang it. It was. How did you find out that it was me? And he's like, my mother wouldn't say that. So you beat her, which is a boss fight, like a secret boss fight, I guess. And not really, because you get an item that you need, which is the gold ring. And later on, you're gonna get another item that you need, so you can like proceed with the game. So I used the mist power. No. I went back to the library. I got I went through this mist thing, and I found the bat power, which let me fly. Afterwards, I remember going through where the Coliseum was at. I went right instead, and there's spikes everywhere, right? In this room, like you have to fly through there if you want to get through it. I remember at that time you also needed the spike, like this armor. But here, let me see. But usually, I think you have to find a bat upgrade, that like a sonar, to like let you see in the dark. And I did find it actually. Let me see. I'm trying to look at my notes here. Oh yeah, at this point, I believe I went to just go find a ton of random shit that from like places that I knew I couldn't find before with the mist. Yeah, I did that, and afterwards I found a ton of stuff. Oh yeah, by this point I also found Richter, because I think I fought him, and he said that he was the ruler of the castle, right? He was like the lord of it, and yeah. So basically, afterwards, you get this like silver necklace where she's at, and you go to where the clock area was at, where you first meet her, and it opens a special door at the bottom. But I didn't go there. I didn't go there yet. Yeah. She basically tells you that he's being controlled. Not going inside the clock room, right? But the last time you meet her, I'm just kind of going off memory, and also kind of how I went through the game, and I'm just telling you guys kind of generally what I did. I don't want to just go over every exact little thing. That's kind of why I'm trying to like cut off things from what I was doing here. Yeah, so from there, I think I found everything. Yeah. One thing that I did miss is that when I got, I used the mist power. I got the bat power from there, and then I also got like other upgrades for the bat, like I can see in the dark with the sonar. And there's a hallway at the bottom right, which has a ton of spikes, and you can like those spikes will obviously kill you if you step on them. And you use the bat, you go through it, and then you find I think like a stronger mist power by that point. No, actually you don't. Not by that point. You get an armor to break spikes. Like you can put on the armor and you can step on spikes or touch spikes and it'll break. It was super cool. It's really satisfying when you walk on spikes. Anyway, so the whole point is that you go through it, and yeah, you can break spikes, and you go into this room, and that's when she gives you the silver necklace. So now you have both of them and you can open it. So that's basically the end of the game. I went to every area possible, and I basically completed most of it, right? From there, I unlocked all the rest of the areas, and oh, right. So I went to the top. Wait, what happens in the... Oh, right, okay. So before I went to go fight Richter, I went to the clock place, and Maria's there. She tells you that that she hopes that you can fight Richter but not kill him. Yeah, that's exactly what happens in that clock room. She's there waiting for you. So after I did that, I'm just trying to recollect my memories. That's when you do the final boss. That's the end of the game. So you see Richter, and you fight him. And actually, he was very, very easy, and I killed him. It even shows like an animation where the castle is destroys and disappears, and Maria's there just really sad, and you walk up to her. And yeah, that's it. It's done. The game finishes. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where it doesn't save. It just goes back to the last area that you were at, that you saved at. And it's cool because I found like little secrets that close to where Dracula's room is at. I thought it was super cool. I found a secret area there. You hit a special like switch. So yeah, I fought him again. I fought Richter again. This time, I didn't hit him. I hit the little orb, because there's an orb around him, and you find out that he was actually being controlled by Death and this other guy, Masa or something. I don't remember his name. Shaft, that's his name. Shaft, not Shaq. Shaft. From there, you actually he's obviously working for Dracula, right? And you save Richter, and you're like, okay, get out of here. And then another castle comes down. Well, at least it looks like it's coming down. But then you're like in this new map. You're like, what the heck? And then you realize that the map is actually flipped upside down. It's upside down. So you have to go through the whole map again, right? Through the whole map again with newer and stronger enemies, newer and stronger bosses. Some are just kind of repeats, but for the most part, there are some new bosses though. For example, I remember there was this like large bat at the beginning. I also fought a Frankenstein mini boss. I fought Death himself, and there are like actually something that I figured out is like there are the kind of like mini bosses, and there are like normal bosses. If you fight the normal bosses, you'll get like a part of Dracula's teeth, or not teeth, sorry. You'll get a part of Dracula, like his arm, his stomach, his tooth, his fucking hair, his his shaft. By the way, there's a lot of funny things in the game. Just a lot of little stuff that you can find in the game that are really funny. There was a mummy boss that I found, a ghoul monster, and if you beat them, you don't have to beat all the bosses. And in the like, I'm just saying in general, even in like the normal castle or in this castle, you can technically just beat the bosses that you want and then fight the final boss. Because so there's like 2 games, the same map but just upside down with stronger everything. So I did when you beat Richter, if you unlocked everything, every part of the map, then you technically 100%ed it. But if you killed or if you hit Shaft and kill him, then you unlock the second part, which is what allows you to get the 200% completion. So I did that, there was also like this Egyptian dog thing that I think that was one of the best bosses in the game. It was exactly where the meat flesh monster was at, that like had a horde of zombies trying to hit me. There was like a Egyptian dog that would like shoot lightning and also hit you, and it was really cool. He had a ton of health. I think he had the most health out of any boss in the game. It was just like I kept hitting him, and I kept stopping time. I kept hitting him a ton of times. I kept doing all these techs to like avoid him and not get hit, even though his attacks take a lot of health. So there was a ton of bosses by this point, actually, that I already killed, over like 40 of them. You don't have to kill all of them, but you get max health and you get this and all sorts of things. And honestly, it's super cool. Actually, one thing that I do want to say before I talk about the final boss is that there's this armor called the walking armor that I really liked, and this cloak. But I'll talk about 2 cloaks. So the armor, this is called the walking plate. The walk plate. And so there are a ton of armors that are strong, and like they have like, they give you resistance against lightning or this or that, right? But there's this one called walking armor. This is the best armor in the game. Why and how? Because it's called the walk armor for a reason. The more you've walked around the map and found these areas, rooms, the stronger it gets. So like each room or 2 rooms you go to, it increases defense by 1. And imagine, if you complete the 200%, you are freaking OP. You are just like half defense up the wazoo. So I was like a tank, right? I was a tank with this armor. And there's also a bunch of cloaks. Like I said, there are cloaks that make you look transparent, cloaks that look like this, like that. But when there was this armor, Dracula's or Alucard's cloak. It was super cool. It's like red on the inside and black on the outside, like his original one. And I thought it was super cool. I was in love with it. He looked just badass. Until I got the other cloak. I forget the name of it, honestly. But I went to go get it. And this cloak, if you go to the settings of the game, you can actually change the color, like the RGB thing. You can change it however you want. So you can have like pink or blue or yellow or white or whatever, whichever color you want on the inside and on the outside. It was awesome. It was like 30,000, but it's totally worth it. You know, it's really cool. I loved it. So yeah, afterwards I fought the final boss. I didn't get the duplicator, the item, the one that's like $500,000, but I could still get it right now. Who cares? Like, you just have to grind, and I told you guys where I know where to grind, but I just haven't done it. Yeah, the game. By the way, I just want to say the game is really cool. Before I go to the final boss and talk about that, actually, should I talk about the things that I thought were cool before I get into the final boss? Nah. I'll talk about the final boss first. So yeah, the final boss was Scath, which is the guy that told you that he was gonna revive Dracula, and he just does these like elemental orb things where he shoots you with elemental orbs. It kind of reminds me of Dragon Mark for Death. The very final boss is the same way. He like uses these elemental swords to like shoot different elements, and it was just kind of that. It was nothing crazy. He was just floating around. So after you beat him, he's actually like, well, I've completed my mission anyway, so yeah. And then an eye opens from the back and Dracula appears, but he appears in his true form, which is a 3-headed black dragon. It looks like the black dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way. Not really, but he was super easy though. He wasn't hard. He was fairly easy to beat. He didn't have that much health. Like, that's why I mentioned the health thing about the Egyptian dog thing. He had a lot more health, and I think even more difficult. So yeah, you basically tell him, he's like, oh, why are you doing this? We could have been stronger, you know, but why would you kill me? And he's like, hey, just want to let you know that your wife always loved you before she died. And then he's like, damn it, I sure enough fought the humans. And yeah, he dies with regret. So the castle gets destroyed in, you know, this ending. But Maria and Richter are alive, and yeah, they're just there. And you tell them, hey, you know what? I still have the blood of him running through my veins, so I have to get out of here. I'm gonna disappear forever. And yeah, you just disappear, and they're like, oh, well, let's go back to everyone. And now my game doesn't say 200%, but it's basically that. Because it's, like I said, like Kingdom Hearts, where it saves before the final fight. Anyway, I loved it. I loved this game. Very creative, very beautiful. The game is smooth. Just didn't like when I got hit by an enemy that was super big and would push me into him, and then you can't move. Then you would get hit by that from touching them, and then like back and forth, you know. Then you would just like die. Even though I didn't really die in the game too much, I probably only died like maybe 5 or 4 times in total. But that's about it, right? Now to talk about the cool things that I thought about of this game. I love the crystal things, like I said, and the save points. It palpitates every single time that you're in there. The different weapons and armor in general, I feel when you could change the appearance of your character, I think that's super awesome. Any game that you could do that, where you change, like you get a new weapon, you get a new piece of armor, and you can see it in game, I think that's super cool. More games should do that. The enemies are cool as hell. Really, really cool. There was one that creeped me out. It was this doll. Like, when you walk near her, she would get up and go like, ha, ha, ha. But it's like a doll. It's like a woman doll, like a Barbie, but just like her hair's flying, and she's like a demon, like a ghost, possessing a doll. And yeah, she just starts like trying to hit you and stuff. But yeah, the one that I remember is like this lizard thing on like 4 feet, and it has a woman as its tail, and it's really cool. It like shoots something at you. Yeah, the amount of enemies in this game is just, there's so much variety. Like even though sometimes it reuses enemies and like just with different colors or whatever, it's I would have thought they would have done that a lot more considering the time this game came out. But there was so many enemies, even sometimes enemies that you would only see one time in the game in certain areas, and that's all. I love that. Enemy types, so many, so good. I love the rewarding system. If you explore, you find more. It was so great. The progression is amazing in this game. If you love progression, if you feel like you're trying to progress in something, this is a great game. Even if you're not trying to do any, if you're just trying to find something to do in your life and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, play this game. You're gonna feel like you've done so many things because this game really rewards you in such a great way. And it's not just like a dumb way to give you dopamine, right? Like in games nowadays where it gives you a loot box, right? And you get some fucking dopamine from that. No, this game, it rewards you because you went out there and you did it. That's awesome. I love the pet system, the familiars. You can get different familiars if you find them, and I thought that was so awesome. And if they can level up, now I don't know the extent of it because I didn't level them up enough. I didn't grind, but I know this whole system about it is super cool. If you want to become a speedrunner in this game, you have to learn how to do the Michael Jackson dash. It's just doing the dash, the one I told you, like you strive backwards. But you always have to look the opposite ways, right? So if you want to go to the right, you have to look to the left, and if you want to look to the left, if you want to go to the left, you have to look to the right. And when you're like going through, when you're platforming and doing all this shit, you want to know how to do it if you want to go through the game faster. That's the fastest way to maneuver around the game, besides the teleporters. In the Twilight Cloak, which is the cloak that I said, like the Alucard cloak, the one that looks like his original one, it's so freaking nice. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is the best cloak in the game, by far. Besides the one that you can change to any color, including the color of that Alucard one, the Twilight Cloak. Yeah, that's it. That's all that I have to talk about. The game was so amazing. It's so, you can beat it in a week. I recommend you to take maybe 2 weeks to play it if you're gonna play it. Just enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I honestly did enjoy it, and I didn't have to rush. I played a few hours every day, and I got through it. And in a week, some days I didn't even play. But yeah, that's about it for me today. I hope that you guys get to try this game. Once again, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And yeah, I hope you guys have a very, very wonderful day. Before I leave, make sure that you guys subscribe, and that you guys keep liking my channel, keep commenting, look through my podcast websites, and if you guys are on the podcast websites, go to my YouTube. I also have a Twitch channel that you guys can follow, and I also have a Twitter and Patreon if you guys want to support. You guys can support many ways, and just being here is one of them. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys come to my next episode. So I will see you then. Goodbye!